Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Big Ken, man. Just gonna say what's up to everybody. Everybody that's out there, y'all be safe. But I need to talk about something, man. I need to talk about slavery, man. The myths of slavery that has been taught, and CRT, far as uh, continuing to teach some of these myths. One thing I can say about slavery, man, slavery is brutal. Another thing I can say about slavery has happened in every civilization. Every civilization in the history of mankind had some kind of form of slavery. Now, some people like to, get into, they want to be smart and try to get into particulars and shit. But when you're in bondage, slavery is slavery. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get that out the way. Now, one thing about, as far as black people wise, one myth that's taught to us is that the white man came to Africa, they took us from Africa and brought us here. That's partly true, that's partly not true. That white people would never got able to get into Africa if it wasn't for black people in Africa that was trafficking slaves. There was a slave trade going on. It was before even the white people got there. They were slaves in Africa. Before the Arabs got there, it was slaves in Africa. So that's one thing that we need to say right there, man. Like we need to sit there and be honest with history. If we're gonna teach it, we need to be honest with it. That's one thing that we need to say if we're gonna talk about critical race theory. I know people say, well, it doesn't pertain to America. Yes, it does, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. Okay, African kings, African queens, royals, most of them participated in the slave trade in one form or another. You know what I'm saying? It's evidence of this if you study the history of the different empires of the time, like the Congo Empire, the Ghana Empire, Ashanti Empire, Benin Empire, you know what I'm saying? The Igbo Empire, the one that's in Angola, you know what I'm saying? Mauritania, they had, and they still have slavery right now. Mauritania, Niger, Mali, all that, they still have slavery going on right now in West Africa. But let me get back on the subject though. Like I said, Africans, we didn't look at each other like it's a pan movement, like a pan-African movement. It looked at each other like, like how Europe, before European Union, Europe looked at each other different kind of ways. They were warring with each other. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Africa. Like, it's the same thing, but at the same time, slave trade was even going on even inside the kingdom. It wasn't just captives of slaves. It was different people inside the kingdom that were slaves, and it was for life. The kids were slaves. You know what I'm saying? And the Portuguese came in and they capitalized on a lot of that slave trade. Okay? So we need to understand that right there. They capitalized on a lot of the slave trade. When they did that shit, it set a precedent, you know what I'm saying? And the precedent was it was set, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to use these big words, cause I'm a country boy, but it was set, and they started encroaching more and more and getting more and more human labor, slaves. You know what I'm saying? It got so bad where eventually the royals, the Portuguese used different tribes that were beefing with each other against each other to get more slaves, to get more labor. And eventually royals got some royal family members were slaves too. They made them slaves. So imagine this. Imagine your ancestors in slavery, right? And this is the shit that blew my mind when I first started this shit. This shit blew my damn mind, I'm about to say. Imagine your ancestors are slave in bondage in America. Imagine when they first got to America, they remember, hey, I got kidnapped, out of my village, and they say, I'm marching into the Ivory Coast or marching to the coast, whatever, to go into the slave ship. Then I made that treacherous journey from West Africa and Central Africa to America. Imagine your ancestors went through all that shit, right? And imagine your ancestors, imagine the new slaves come in that your ancestors witnessed, right? And imagine the new slaves that came in was one of the ones that trapped your ancestor. So imagine your ancestors see this shit, see the new slaves come in, and they see that, hey, this guy right here was the one that put me over here in the first place. Ain't that a crazy notion, a crazy thought? You know what I'm saying? See, this is my problem with critical race theory. They won't teach that. They're not gonna teach the truth. And my thing is, honestly, I don't think teachers should really teach like that. I think history should go as the kids get older, it should start kind of going away and start focusing on math, science, and shit like that, technology. Like, why would people want to focus on history when the new shit coming up is STEM? Like, you gotta, like, the old ways of getting this money, like working factory jobs and shit like that shit is gonna start dying out. And if not dying out, it's gonna start going to other people. But the new game is STEM. But we worried about history and worried about history that is fake and not tell the truth. Like, you don't see in the history books not in the history books, you won't see in classes that it came up in, because when I went to school, I didn't know this shit neither. You're not going to see that Rome went into Britain and did genocide on Britain, did genocide on France, on Gaul, on the Germanic tribes. You're not going to see that. We just talk about the glory of Rome, but we don't talk about how they enslaved people, just like black folks were enslaved in America. They enslaved people over there too. And they're not talking about that. They're not talking about, they already know about, for the slaves' wives as gladiators, but they don't understand that, like, if your master wanted something from you, they gonna get it from you. Sexually, physically, whatever. And it was like that, just like how it was over in the States. Rome was doing all that shit. Persia had slaves. Egypt had slaves. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Celts had slaves. The Vikings had slaves. You know what I'm saying? China, the different Chinese, what do you call that stuff that China did back in the day? The different tribes and different kingdoms of the ancient Chinese, they had slaves. Japan had slaves, you know what I'm saying? India had slaves. Like, we need to, like, that's what I'm saying. Everybody been through this shit. And our schools need to tell the truth, man. We need to tell the truth. We need to just focus on science, technology, math, stuff like that, man. These kids coming up, man, it's almost like, man, I'm about to make another video on that too, but anyways, yeah, so y'all watch this history shit, man. If you really want to learn history, seek knowledge for yourself. Don't sit there and rely on somebody to teach it to you. Why don't you go out there and read, man? Don't rely on the teacher to tell you a half truth about history and then indoctrinate you, man. Anyways, y'all have a good one.